I was the worst president in the history of our country. I am showing every day that I hate democracy. I lie, I cheat, I make up fake stories. I'm a hater, and I hate at levels that are rarely seen before.
Are you a weak person? So weak that your inadequacies are bringing you down? Put all your loathsome qualities somewhere else with the leading brand in self-deception. Trump projection. Just take one of those distasteful truths about yourself.
I am unfit to lead.
And project it somewhere else.
Kamala Harris is unfit to lead.
With Trump projection, it's easier than ever to turn your shame.
I'm bringing drugs. I'm bringing crime. I'm a rapist.
Into blame.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Trump projection's patented I'm rubber, you're glue technology can take even the deepest insecurities and redirect them anywhere to ensure striking and dependable projection that protects your fragile little ego. So when you're thinking this,
I want to weaponize the FBI, the DOJ. That's going to be my form of shading.
Try Trump projection and flip it to this.
The Democrats want to weaponize the FBI, the DOJ. That's going to be their form of shading.
See the difference? And it's shame-resistant and accountability-proofed. So start your journey of ego defense today with Trump projection, the key to a spotless self-image. So you can be sure you're doing this.
She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
Instead of this.
I'm not a good debater. I'm not a smart person. And I don't want to debate. I'm going to destroy our country.
Trump projection. Because who needs reality when you have your own?
And the Sharper Image is the only store where you can buy it.
Hoopla about age these days.
But not for me.
See that guy in the red shirt? That's Alan Lichtman, 77-year-old Alan Lichtman. And he's racing in the qualifiers for the Senior Olympics. But there's another kind of race Alan's just as qualified for.
Alan Lichtman.
Alan Lichtman.
Professor Alan Lichtman, who has correctly predicted
almost every presidential election since 1984.
And today, Alan Lichtman's ready to tell us who's going to win in 2024. You see, you may think Alan's just a jock.
Well, I was a steeplechase champion in the 1970s.
His name is Dr. Alan Lichtman.
But he's actually kind of a nerd, a history professor, and a quiz show champion. These days, he's on a different kind of winning streak. To make his presidential predictions, Alan's model ignores the polls and the pundits.
It hinges on 13 keys that I developed in 1981 with my geophysicist friend, Vladimir Kailas-Borak. It's based on 120 years of presidential election outcomes before then.
Told you, he's a nerd. Alan's model was one of the few that called it for Trump in 2016.
Donald Trump is going to win.
And in 2020, Alan got it right again.
Trump will lose the White House.
The race was tight, but the keys were right.
So let's get to how these keys actually work.
They are 13 big picture, true, false questions that tap into the strength and performance of the White House party. And only 2 keys have anything to do with the candidates.
But Alan, 2024 is an unprecedented election year. Can your 13 keys really call it right?
The keys absolutely will work. They are the constant northern star of political prediction.
All right, time to run these keys and find out who will be the next president of the United States, according to Alan.
But first, let me change into something a little more comfortable.
Number 1, the White House party gained House seats between midterm elections.
The Democrats did better than expected in 2022, but they still lost House seats, so the key is false.
Remember, a false key is good for Trump. Number 2, the incumbency key. The sitting president is running for re-election.
Biden withdrew from the race, costing the Democrats this key. It is false.
Wait, you're saying it would have helped the Democrats if Biden stayed in?
If Biden stayed in, they would have salvaged this one key. That's all.
Okay. Moving on for now. Number 3, the White House party avoided a primary contest.
The Democrats finally got smart and united overwhelmingly behind Vice President Harris. So the key is true.
A true key. That moves Harris off the starting block. Number 4, there's no third-party challenger.
RFK Jr. has dropped out of the race, and no other third-party candidate is anywhere close to the 10% polling threshold needed to turn this key. It's true.
4 keys in, and it's neck and neck. Let's keep going. Number 5, the short-term economy is strong.
Look, despite all the loose talk about a so-called vibe session, the economy is not in recession, so this key is true.
Number 6, long-term economic growth during this presidential term has been at least as good as the last 2 terms.
Growth during the Biden term is far ahead of growth during the previous 2 terms, so this key is clearly true.
Number 7, the White House has made major changes to national policy.
Rejoining the Paris Accords on climate change, the CHIPS bill, the infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction and Climate Change bill. Clearly, the key is true.
Number 8, there is no sustained social unrest during the term.
There have been sporadic protests, but nothing approaching the massive, sustained social unrest needed to turn this key, so it's true.
But schools are just going back to session. With new protests, couldn't this key flip?
Yes, there are a lot of protesters upset with Biden's policies in the Middle East. But now with Harris, not Biden, front and center, that has dampened social unrest.
Number 9, the White House is untainted by scandal.
Oh, my favorite key, the scandal key. And Republicans have been trying for years to pin a scandal on President Biden and come up empty. So the key is true.
But come on, Alan. Biden's horrific debate performance, questions about his age, Hunter Biden? Doesn't any of that count?
No. There has to be at least some bipartisan recognition of actual corruption that implicates the president himself and not a family member. So the key remains true.
So 2 false and 7 true so far. Looking pretty good for the Democrats. We have 4 keys left, all of which would have to be false for Trump to have a path. Number 10, the incumbent party candidate is charismatic.
This is a very high threshold key. You have to be a once-in-a-generational, broadly inspirational candidate. Harris has not met that standard, so this key is false.
Number 11, the challenger is uncharismatic.
Some people think Donald Trump is a god, but he only appeals to a narrow base, so that key is true.
But wait, that means...
The Democrats will hold on to the White House, and Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States.
But wait a sec, Alan. We still have 2 keys left. The foreign policy keys?
You're right. Foreign policy is tricky, and these keys could flip. The Biden administration is deeply invested in the war in Gaza, which is a humanitarian disaster with no end in sight. But even if both foreign policy keys flip false, that would mean that there were only 5 negative keys, which would not be enough for Donald Trump to regain the White House.
So I guess that means you're standing by your prediction.
Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. At least that's my prediction for this race. But the outcome is up to you, so get out and vote.
Well, I guess that settles that race. But what about the one we started with?
Well, I won some medals, I didn't get hurt, and I qualified for the 2025 National Senior Olympics. Not bad for a 77-year-old, huh?
You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me.
It's been 9 long years. The stress, the tension, the lies and division, the attacks on our lives, our rights, our sanity, family and friends lost to the conspiracies and the cruelty, all from one man. and the movement he controls. But it's almost over. We can see the finish line. A new America, a new dawn, a new start. Unity, joy, strength. It's coming, but we're not done yet. There's hard work ahead, but we take nothing for granted. Trump is failing. America is winning. We're close. It's coming. Now, it's up to you. Volunteer, give, vote. Because there's nothing more patriotic than standing up for the America we can be.
America's national security, a president's first job, to protect our nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. In a dangerous world, Kamala Harris has sworn to do just that. Her commitment is clear.
I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
And to uphold America's solemn promise to honor our veterans.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Kamala Harris for president, for a stronger, safer America.
Wash away my troubles, wash away my pain with the vote for Kamala. Wash away the narrow-minded Trump campaign with the vote for Kamala. Oh, yeah, Kamala. Oh, yeah, Kamala. I can see all the sisters with a twinkle in their eye, gonna vote for Kamala. It's too bad Dr. Joyce Brothers isn't still alive, 'cause she'd vote